how to get your needs met is such a broad statement overall. And I find right off the bat, so many people are actually unaware on what their needs actually are, only because they're not taking the time to self-reflect from, like, just reflect on any experiences they have. They just move forward without properly reflecting on the situation and how they created that for themselves and what needs weren't met or needed in those moments. That's the biggest thing, that's like just starting off there.
That is a really broad topic of getting your needs met, and it's so important in a relationship. And the first aspect is really getting to know your own needs, and that's such a missing piece for so many people.
So many.
They can't reflect on themselves. They feel some type of way. They feel frustrated. They feel impatient. They feel hurt. They feel unloved. They feel misunderstood. But it's like, what are your needs? That's what you don't want. So what do you want? It's so obvious, and it's so common for people to focus on the problems. My partner's defensive. I feel frustrated. I feel misunderstood. I feel hurt. I feel rejected, neglected, all these things. It's like, cool, you need to identify your needs so you can teach your partner better.
Exactly. And even everything that you just said as well, some things that you've just listed, it's so natural or automatic or being covered up, just assuming that your partner knows that. Like, I've been messaging a few girls over the last week and just getting an insight on their relationship, and they've been saying, I feel like my partner doesn't love me. I'm like, how do you know your partner doesn't love you? And it's like all of everything that it's like, I don't feel loved, they don't spend enough time with me. It's like, have you actually communicated that with your partner, or have you just assumed that they know that? And there's a lot of assumptions that are happening in relationships if they're not properly analyzing themselves and their needs in those moments.
There's assumptions and there's blame a lot of the time. Like, people need to take, like, it's my responsibility to make this relationship great, and it's your responsibility to make this relationship great. If I was just like, but me is this, me is that, or if you were like, Charlie doesn't make me feel loved, Charlie doesn't do this, he never does this, he never does that, it's like, is that my responsibility or Mia's responsibility? It's both of ours, right? You have a massive part to play in that.
On top of, sorry to cut you off there, but like, on top of that, it's your own responsibility to make you happy. And it's my own responsibility to make me happy. And it's also my own responsibility to make sure I show up the best that I can in this relationship. So it's both of our responsibility to make sure that we're filling up our own cups and then filling up the cup in our relationship.
Yeah, it's not your partner's responsibility to make you happy. It's your responsibility to make you happy. And as soon as you can understand what makes you happy and teach your partner how to make you happy, that's when the relationship really starts going well. But so many people just expect their partner to know, right? Exactly. It's like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel loved. I don't feel connected. I don't feel recognized. It's like, cool. It's not your partner's responsibility to know exactly what you need. Like, expecting your partner to fulfill all your needs without telling them what your needs are is like trying to build a rocket ship without an instruction manual. Like, it's really complicated to love another person, right? Everyone has their own unique challenges and breakthroughs and traumas and problems and past mistakes and experiences and beliefs and all this stuff, right? So it's really important that you identify your own needs and actually teach your partner how to love you.
Exactly. And then you also said a point there of sometimes them feeling like, I don't feel recognized. And then you realize that that's a need that hasn't been met, that I'm not feeling recognized. If you feel that way, sit with yourself and ask yourself, what's happening right now? Why do I not feel recognized? Is it because when he first came home, he didn't drop everything and come over to you and seem really excited to see you? It's like, it can be so many little things. Sometimes it's like, I put his clothes away and he didn't thank me. And like, all of this could not even be seen or recognized on your partner's point of view, just because maybe it's just out of their awareness and they had no idea. And if you're feeling that way, actually recognizing that, sitting with it, get super clear on why you don't feel recognized or appreciated. Be like, it's this and this, and then go and start that conversation with your partner, not abruptly or starting a fight. It's simply sharing your perspective when you are both in a calm state. So then you can be on the same page. And that's the biggest thing that I really see missing in a relationship. They're lacking that self-awareness to then have that conversation with their partner, then how to communicate that effectively to their partner.
Yeah, there's so much missing, right? We've actually just filmed a program on all this, on how to really understand your own needs, how to communicate them effectively, how to understand the opposite sex. When you're in a relationship with someone and it's a heterosexual relationship, then your man or your woman operates completely different from you, and you need to know the differences. So that's all in the program. And also dealing with a defensive partner.
Yeah.
There's so much that comes into that. And getting your needs met is the biggest thing that comes up. And especially a defensive partner. I see that all too often. So it's like, really understand your own needs and don't expect your partner to just know everything. And don't expect your partner to recognize you for something you want to be recognized for. It's like, even I'm mad at my partner because I made the bed and he didn't thank me. It's like, that's an expectation. Yes, maybe he should have recognized you, but it's still not his responsibility. He can be more considerate maybe, but you can also tell him, hey, I love it when you thank me for the little things, like making the bed.
Yeah. Just to bring in a personal story here, even the statement about, I remember when we first moved in together, like a couple months in, you have a tendency just to, like, you walk in and then you put your stuff down at the door and then you go on with your life. However, it wasn't until I fully made sense on how a male brain works and how they see things, and it's like, if that's not in their awareness, they don't see it, pretty much. And then it's like, I noticed that I was like, oh, I'll help him and like hang up this shirt and like tidy up your shoes. And to him, he just placed them there. So like the moment they're down and in a place, he just goes on with, like Charlie just goes on with his life and then focuses on the next thing, because males just focus.
Singular
focus. So I'd like clean up and tidy up. And then after a while, I just felt like, oh, like I don't feel appreciated in these moments. And it was oh so little, just in those like, oh, a little shirt here, a little shirt there. But then I realized, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm just cleaning up after him. And it started off with just helping you out. And then I had that conversation with you that it's just like one shirt here, shoes here, that it was just not in your awareness whatsoever. And then it was me recognizing that it's like, you're not a messy person whatsoever. It's like, I believe we're both very clean. It was just in that moment that I started to feel unappreciated ever so slightly, and then bringing it up into both of our awareness so we could both be aware of it. And it's not like I allowed it to happen for months, feeling that way, then building up resentment, and then bursting and angrily arguing with you, like, you never clean up after yourself, because that's not true. It's like, you do clean up after yourself.
Say you're a woman and your man leaves a coffee cup on the side and you think, oh, he didn't put it away, I'll put it away. And then he does it the next day. You think, oh, I wish he put it away, and you put it away. Then the next day is like, he needs to put this away, and then you put it away. And then he keeps doing it over and over. It's just such a small thing for him. He puts his coffee cup on the side. And then one day you absolutely blow up at him. You're like, stop leaving the coffee cup on the side. And he's like, whoa, she's so reactive. She's so emotional. She's so sensitive. She's so needy.
She overreacted over nothing.
Yeah, why is she reacting like this? It's just a coffee cup. It's like, it's not the coffee cup. It's the hundreds of times before that it bothered you, but you didn't bring it up. And then it blows up into this big argument. Whereas if you can actually bring it up when it comes up for you, that makes such a difference. Being in a relationship with Mia, I always said I want someone who brings up their stuff and they don't hide anything and they just air out their needs. And I definitely get that. And it can be it can be frustrating in the short term. It's like, oh, you're literally picking up on all the little things that you want to be improved upon. Nothing's being swept under the rug. And at the same time, in the moment, it can be like, oh, you're really calling me to be the best version of myself.
It's so funny. Like, it's so, again, well and easy to hear it here. And then it's just like in those moments when it just feels like we're bringing up all these little things. However, it's these little things that will make all the difference in the long run.